A few rusty spears of sunlight had pierced through the overhead drizzling clouds. Behind the gloom of rain and mist, I could see a wizened but fearfully bloodshot sun. And everywhere the sweet clangour of bells pushed in clear tones what secret rites had evolved with this city. Narrow cobbled streets, ancient warren of diverse architecture, all backed up into itself, with here, there and everywhere the massive masonry of college after college. Sudden and thrifty avenues winding past close-packed little shops, and the Bodleian which American Margaret portrayed as an upside-down artichoke. The corn market with its crowded pavements, its rebelliously glossy and supermarket look. Did Zuleika Dobson ride past, her carriage horses striking up sparks from the flint of the road? Myth, illusion, reality were all consumed by the dull gold inwardness, narrowness, the sheer and brilliant impossibility of all, as the raindrops splashed and the castanets of stray sunlight beams clapped against the slate roofs, walls and doorways. I walked slowly towards All Souls, my mind an essay to itself. Drawing apart the curtains, opening the windows to let in not the driving snow, but the hail of memories. The reek and ruin of heat and mud huts through which a people of gnarled and knotty face could not even dream of education, good food, even dignity. Their lifetime was one long day of grim and degrading toil, unappeasable hunger whose child's eyes unflinchingly accused the adults of some gross betrayal. The foul smells of the pit latrines and the evil sweet fumes of the ever-open beer halls, these infiltrated everything from the smarter whitewashed hovels of the aspirant middle class to the wretched squalor of the tin and mud huts that slimily coiled and uncoiled together like hideous worms in a bottomless hell. And here I was in Oxford, thinking of the castanets of stray sunlight, calmly going to my tutorial in All Souls. A sudden downpour made me run the last few yards into All Souls. The bloodshot mind up there was now completely shrouded by the heavy clouds coming in from the east. Stephen was already waiting outside the tutorial room. I was shaking and brushing the rain from my clothes, stamping my feet on the faded mat. He smiled. "Wretched weather," he said. "Stinking rain," I said. "I hear you were sozzled last night, had a brush with the porter." As usual, I said, "But what brush up? I can't remember a thing." "Thought you wouldn't, actually." He leaned back against the wall, hands in his pockets, ankle over ankle. "He caught you climbing back in. He's got a black eye to show for it." Shit, I had forgotten to check my mail. There was probably a summons to the Dean in it. Not again, for Christ's sake. But I said in an offhand way, "Bloody uppity, these porters, if you ask me. When a bloke is quietly sneaking back into his rooms, they make a fuss." "You weren't quietly sneaking back to your rooms. Apparently you were howling the Hallelujah chorus and cursing some unfortunate called Margaret." He blinked, asked, "Is she the Margaret in St Hilda's? Rumour, you know." "Can't say, old man, I haven't the foggiest about last night," I said too ruefully. "I managed to finish the bloody essay this morning with a little help from Scotch. That funny malt we got at Smiley's. Lethal concoction, that." I could see he still wanted to drive home his point. He did. "I heard it's not the Dean this time. It's the Walrus himself who wants to see you. I'm wondering what you're doing here, actually." The Warden. Damn it. The damn Walrus can bloody sing while waiting. Language, dear boy, language. The language of power. "Sod it, and sod Old English too," I said briskly, changing the subject. "Have you done yours?" "Yes and no. It's still under unfinished business." The white-hot bitch. He had never produced a single essay for all the tutorials we had had together. Nobody seemed to care. Certainly he himself did not give a fig. I sighed. I became aware of the Zimbabwean Dambudzo Marechera, both as an author and as an old member of college, when working on the book New College in 2010. He had been accepted in October 1974 after having been expelled from the University of Rhodesia for his part in student protests against racial discrimination. The short story Oxford Black Oxford is, to quote Chris Power, a scabrous assault on the way Marechera, who was a wild and ill-disciplined, albeit brilliant student, was belittled by both the university tutors and his fellow students. The story begins and ends, continues Power, with bitterly ironic visions of beauty and hope. But the despair at its centre suggests that these intermittent moments of joy are remnants of an optimism that is being ground away by adverse reality. Marechera, who died in 1987 from an AIDS-related illness, described his writing as a form of literary shock treatment and considered writing in English, his second language, as a form of combat, a struggle which can be felt through his text. He was, said Helen Haberler, a man with such a sense for the dramatic, a man to whom the boundary between the fictitious and the real is so thin as to be almost non-existent. And for me, Marechera's deferred brush with the Dean is a classic moment, which juxtaposes unacceptable violence toward a member of staff with the farcical vocalisation of the Hallelujah chorus.